What's up? This is Yuda, another episode of Should I Buy It? And this time we're actually talking about collection of plugins, not just one, from Kush Audio. Now I've been following this company for a while now, never had that plugins, just downloaded the demo. So we're gonna check out if should we buy some of the plugins, all the plugins, we'll see. I do have a hardware version of their parallel EQ, which we'll check at the end. So let's see what it's all about. One thing before we start, I do want to say that most of these plugins do need an iLock security dongle, like a USB, which I hate. I hate those. Like Auto-Tune needs it, and it's horrible. Most of us are laptop musicians. We don't want this to carry it. What if we lose it? Then we have to transfer licenses and all of that. Really bad. But it's is a high-quality company, makes a lot of hardware, and a few years in the past they also got into software. So let's check it out. So here I have just a project I'm working with artist named Amazulu. Really great stuff, kind of Afrobeat. Let's just first listen. I have all the plugins turned off. It's just in the beginning stages of mixing. Not even all the vocals are in. But let's check what we have.
Bring that, record that, hear that, love that.
You make me so far so much, baby. Why you gonna make me so far so?
Okay, excellent. So let's start. Let's first of all solo the drums. Here's the drums, clean, dry. And first plugin we're gonna talk about is the Novatron. Now this is super. Let me just. This is the dry. And I'm going to turn it on. I already have a preset right here loaded. Really fat and nice. So the Novatron is an analog modeled compressor, but it's just not modeled on just one compressor. It's a very unique type of compressor, which I love. If we look at the attack stage here, it actually have a few different compressors, attack modes that you can switch from. So we have the FET, FET compressor, the VCA, and the Verimue. So you can kind of get a lot of different tones, a lot of different reactions out of it. And the attack stage is very smooth, can be very tight, very smooth, very slow, or colorful, characterful, however you want it to be. So so that's very cool. And we can also see on the release stage, same thing, goes from FET to VCA to the Verimue. So very awesome, cool. Awesome stuff here. We have just one compressor knob, kind of bringing down the threshold and the ratio, everything combined into one, so it makes it very easy to work with. Like all the Kush audio plugins, we do have oversampling, which is on, just to make sure that all the high frequencies, we eliminate as much anti-aliasing as possible to have a smoother high frequency response. There's really great categories here for presets. I went with drum synth and all the presets right here. So let's go through some presets just so we can hear the versatility of this compressor. I'm using it here on drums. We'll see later also I'll add it on maybe keys or vocals and stuff like that. So let's go over a few. It's a bit too much. That's nice. Let's bypass it. This without. With really brings nicely all the detail out of those percussion in the background. I really like this heavy and clicky preset, at least for these drums. It does have a saturation circuit here that is separate from the compression, so it does make the saturation behave very nicely to the sound. I'm gonna push it to the extreme just so we can hear it. Now, one thing I noticed, that's probably my only con here, except the iLock dongle, is that the saturation is kind of, when you move it, or if you want to modulate or automate it, it creates some weird noises. It might be just my project, but let me know. That kind of you can hear it create some clicks and stuff like that. But maybe it wasn't intended to be automated anyway. We do have a sidechain built in here if the bass is triggering the compression too much. We have mode, limit, punish, and a mix. And we also have a tone shift, which will completely change the tonality of the compressor, airy, dark, and flat. I like the airy. Nice. Now, I want to say that like all the plugins from Kush Audio, those are highly professional mixing plugins. So some of the settings might be very subtle. We'll see later with more of the Transformers plugins. That's the Novatron, kind of a combination of a lot of different character of old compressors, vintage compressors in one. The interface, I like it. Really great stuff. If you're looking for a compressor to kind of compress anything from drums, bass, synths, vocals, it's just incredible. Sounds great, sounds fat, sounds professional, and even I would say sounds a tiny bit analog. It does kind of blur the line between analog and software. So really great modeling, love it, and a combination, very versatile. That's a Novatron. Next, we have, let's say, load the bass. This is the bass with nothing, kind of 808s. They do have another sample there, and more kind of a pluck bass. So this next one is called Red DI or Ready. It's modeled after classic DI box that kind of had this kind of fuzz characteristic to it, a fuzz pedal characteristic. This thing, you know, you would think, why do we need a DI box as a plugin? And it's just magic. I don't really know what's going on here. Let me play the dry again. And let me turn it on. What is this? Incredible. So it's emulating this DI box. If you are playing like electric bass, this can be an amazing plugin to put as the first before you all the compression, EQ, and saturation. It just makes things sound more alive, more real. This is 808. This is just a synth bass from some boom bass from Rob Papin, and it just makes it sound more real. It's incredible. Here's the main. There's not much here. There's not even presets. I don't think there's even a manual. You do have the info button here that explains what's going on here, and let's turn down the volume. Bring it up. Right, it goes into that fuzzy distortion levels, but so nice, so smooth. You can boost the bass. You can invert the phase, and you can have a kind of reduce everything, kind of a pad button, reduce everything, minus 20 dB to gain more headroom. This thing is amazing. I love it so much. It's just crazy how beautiful it makes things, how more alive, more organic it makes things are, even if you're using synthesizers. So again, without, much quieter, of course, we should gain match, and with. Just, wow, just incredible. Ready. Not much to say, it's a simple device, but just magic, just amazing stuff. I love those simple ones, you don't have to do anything. You just turn two knobs and it sounds great. Ready, Red DI from Kush Audio. This is a must-have, must-have. I don't think it's too expensive, but it's a must-have. They also offer subscription-based, where you can subscribe and get all their plugins. I don't like that type of business, because you just pay us for as long as you use it. I prefer rent-to-own, like Splice is offering on Serum and stuff like that, where you just pay month to month until you pay everything. But they do also offer just one-time payment on each plugin so you can purchase them. This is a must-have. This is incredible. Ready. Wow. Okay. Next one is the Omega 458A. You know what? I think I even have it on the keys. So let's check it out on the keys. Let's see without anything. I'll play it from the intro. So this is part of the series of Transformers emulation or modeled Transformers. And this is a tube saturation. Very simple. Nothing much going on here. Phase invert, pad, just a reduce -20 to get more headroom, input outputs, and you got oversampling again to eliminate any anti-aliasing for smoother high frequencies. So let's turn it on. We also have these indicators left and right indicating how much we're actually pushing the transformer. So really nice, kind of noisy, but it is kind of a tube iron type of modeled transformer. But really nice, very warm and fuzzy, I love it. Probably amazing on cymbals, on more high frequency stuff. Smooth them out. So very simple. I don't think there's even a manual. There's not even an info knob like the other plugins that explain what this is, but you can get some more information online on their website. So Mega Transformer, it's part of I'll show you the other ones. It's part of a Transformer series. So very cool stuff, very simple. Sometimes might be too simple. We might want to use plugins that have multiple effects inside of them instead of just one to load this one just for this one effect. But it's modeled very nicely. Kush Audio, like they're doing a very good job with modeling this hardware units. So this is the Transformer model 458A. Okay, I'm back after a super annoying long crash, and it's the second time that it crashed. I suspect the Novatron, but I'm not sure what actually crashing. I can check the Ableton crash report later. So let's continue. Before the crash, we checked out the Omega 458A. Really great stuff. Next one, let's go to the guitars. I'm going to solo the guitars here on the chorus. Let's listen. And we're going to check this Electra DSP. They have a hardware, I think the 500 unit, that is advertised as a very fast transient EQ. And this thing, wow, I just tried to kind of mess it up, play around with it. It's hard to make it sound bad, which I love those things. It's like an actual expensive hardware unit. Doesn't come with any presets, like I didn't see any at least, but it just sounds amazing. This is the guitars without and with. Just open everything up. Here we have the high frequency, the amount. You can just push the hell out of it and it just sounds great. The mid frequencies here are just amazing. The high mid frequencies, wow. So this dual knob, you have one for the amount, the dB, and one for the frequency. It's kind of confusing at first, but you do have those two sliders, so it doesn't really matter. I guess it makes more sense on the hardware unit. You can boost the low frequencies, and you can also have a high-pass filter as well right here on the bottom. Oversampling, again, like all the other plugins, phase inversion, high-pass filter. This Electra DSP, if you're looking for an EQ, they're just extremely musical. You just doesn't matter what you do, it sounds good. Electra DSP, I love it so much. I just tried it on guitars and it's amazing. Opened up the sound, sits much more nicer in the mix, bring up all the details. Really amazing stuff. Electra DSP, wow, this thing is incredible. If you do have a 500 like a lunchbox, you can check out those hardware units as well, which I'm assuming, again, the dual knob probably make more sense there. So this one, again, I just try to make it sound bad, like just push everything. It doesn't sound bad. I love it. I love it in plugins. That's what that's what a real expensive hardware is all about. It's hard to make them sound bad. Extremely musical, beautiful. It's an electrified transient equalizer. Really great stuff. So let's go to the vocals. This is what I have.
You make me so fast, so much, baby.
And we're going to talk about the Hammer DSP, which is a tube equalizer. So let me just turn it off.
You make me so fast,
turn it on.
So much, baby.
And we can already hear the density of the saturation, which can be nice on many applications like drums, bass, sometimes even synths if you want to make them more denser, but it might be too much for some applications. One thing I love here is just low, mids, and highs. On the bottom, you have the prefixed frequencies. You can change with frequency. It's actually boosting or cutting. The lows, check the lows. Let's boost the lows.
You are make me so far so much, baby.
Add so much body to the sound. I think it can be amazing on female vocal, and in this case on male vocal, which is incredible. So if you're looking for that type of tube EQ, the tube color, that very dense, warm one, this is amazing. It sounds very nice, not too harsh, not too fuzzy, just dense and warm. And just sounds very, very musical. So you can, of course, cut also frequencies.
Make me so far so much, babe.
If you want to kind of push things back in the mix, if you want to make them more muffled, more thin, all those things. Very simple to use, nothing too crazy here. But once again, just like the Electra DSP, the Hammer DSP is a bit less clean because it's based on more modeled on tube equalizers. But wow, this thing, let's listen again.
You make me so far so much, baby.
Without.
Why you go make me so far so.
With. Wow, incredible.
Make me so far.
Love those. Hammer and the Electra, both of them are so musical. It's hard to go wrong with them, which that's probably the best feature about them. It's just hard to go wrong. So that's amazing. Next one is another one from the Transformer series, which is Model A, based on the Transformers in the API consoles. So let's turn it on. Let me turn off the Hammer so we can hear just this. I'm going to push it extreme so we can hear it. Now we can hear there's some dynamic processing happening here as well, besides the saturation. And same thing, we can invert the phase, get the pad, like minus 20 dB headroom, input-output, oversampling for anti-aliasing, and the intensity knob just to bring up, kind of to drive more and more the transformer. Again, simple device. You don't need an actual iLok for that. You just need the iLok account, which is free. But once again, we might want a plugin, a mixing plugin that have a lot of different effects in it, a lot of processors, and one of them is this transformer emulation instead of having a whole plugin just for that. Although they're very cheap, so if you're looking for something to emulate API, can be cool.
You make me so far so much, baby.
Next one is extremely similar, but that's based on the Neve. Based on the Neve transformers. Turn it on. Let's turn it off actually. Without.
You make me so far so much, baby.
And with.
You make me so far so much, baby.
So this one I actually like more than the API. Could be just for this application because it just add a lot of more body fatness to the sound without adding too much noise or too much fuzziness. So it's very gentle for, by the way, all these knobs. I'm just scrolling up and down with 2 fingers on my magic mouse. So that can be good or bad. But same architecture, phase inversion, pad, and so on. I don't think there's manuals for these, although you might not need. But just description, what's the info knob? Right? We used the info knob like all the other plugins. Just click info, show you kind of a breakdown of what those are. But those are the Transformer series. There was one more called Tweak. Honestly, I just couldn't install it on my computer for some reason. So I'll try to get back to it in a different video. But those are the Transformer series, API, Neve, and the Tube, the 458A. All of them are great. Okay, next one, we're going to keep still with the vocals. I'm actually going to send the vocals to return track A. And on return track A, I have this plate reverb from Kush Audio. This is a collaboration with D-Lab. And they took the plate reverbs from D-Lab and added all the tricks that Kush Audio have, like the dynamics and the saturation and all of those things. So it's just a plate reverb, but it is very nice for automation. Some reverbs, it's hard to automate because they just change and they create a lot of sound, a lot of noise, and create some weird artifacts when you automate. But this one is extremely smooth when you automate the reverb time.
You make me so far so much, baby.
Which is amazing. So some exceptions here from other plate reverbs is we do have built-in dynamics, built-in saturation, and we even have the material, which is cool, like steel and gold, a gold plate reverb, which is very cool. You can also lock the parameters, which is very useful. I'm going to lock the blend, the dry wet, so I can keep it on 100% because it is a return track. And some of these presets, which are awesome, are not all the way wet. So I can lock the wet because it's a return track. So let's go over a few of them just to hear it. I'm actually going to solo just the reverb so we can hear just the reverb. Let's go to a different category. Squish it. Let's drive it. So very kind of dark and dense type of reverb. Might be good more for drums or for vocal applications who needs it. I think I need a bit brighter here. Very dark. Let's check out the drums. I have another plate here. Let's turn it on. I'm going to send my drums to it. And let me open it up. And we're actually going to go with something tight. Let's see. Let's lock the blend. That's too much. Let's remove. Oh, that's nice. And again, you can automate everything here and it sounds very smooth. Love that. Here's a breakdown of what's going on here. Right, modeled on all the EMT plate reverbs. So really great stuff. Just a plate reverb, a collaboration between Kush and Relab, which is great, bringing the kind of the strength of both developers into one plugin. And it tend to sound very dark type of reverb, but great on drums. On vocals depends, but on drums, adds so much dimension. Really great stuff. I wish the pre-delay could be synced. That's something we see more and more in modern reverbs. But again, it's a plate reverb, you know, so what can we expect? But the modulation, like the automating of the plugin, that's really great. So you can create some more creative uses out of this plate reverb instead of just having it as just a static reverb. So that's the gold plate. Really cool stuff. Last plugin in this review is one of the most magical things ever. And we actually have the hardware unit. We have a 2 mono 500 units, like the lunchbox of the Clariphonic. The Clariphonic is a parallel equalizer. We don't see a lot of plugins offer parallel EQ, but of course you can make it yourself with just another bus, return track, auxiliary track, whatever software you use. But this is a dual parallel EQ, like stereo. I have a few different modes that focus on different types of frequency bands and cool presets, really great presets. Also have a dual mono mode, stereo mode, or mid-side mode. So one for the mid, one for the sides. And I'm just going to play the entire mix here. And I'm just going to go through presets. And let's go through the mix presets and check it out. Now, it can be very subtle, but it's just magical. It just opens up the sound in just a magic way. Very loyal emulation to the hardware. Really great stuff. If you can't afford the hardware, you don't want to mess around with all the connections or everything. Clariphonic, parallel EQ. I wish we didn't need the dongle, but it's still amazing. Start it off. Oh, I see I'm coming in pretty hot there. Let me just take all the tracks, turn them down.
You make me so far, so much, baby. Why you go make me so far, so
Turn down the vocals a tiny bit.
you go make me so far, my love.
Okay, let's go.
You make me so far, so much, baby. Why you go make me so far, so you go make.
Alright, so let me push it a tiny bit so we can hear the effect. So two modes, two knobs, focus and clarity. Here we have all the different frequency bands that we focus on: presence and sheen, shimmer and silk, tight and diffuse, and lift and open. And of course, you can put it in the middle to just cancel it, so it's not actually working. Here we can put this in the middle. So which one we're going with? Really great stuff. It looks exactly like the hardware. I have the 500, so it's kind of like a small standing unit. But this thing is gentle, amazing, magical, musical, for anything, for mastering, of course, which was designed for, to just groups, just individual tracks. Really great stuff. One thing I didn't mention that I love about the Kush audio plugins is that if you load a preset, this LED is going to be green until you change it, and then it just tells you that you changed the preset. So we can go back to the preset by going back to it.
You are make me so far so much, baby. Why you gonna make me so far?
This without.
You are gonna
This with.
make me so far, my love.
Gain staging, again, we should balance the gain, but it's just amazing. Parallel EQ for mastering purposes and just all sorts of mixing and sound design, opening up the sound, getting more detail, more life into the mix. Incredible stuff. The Clariphonic is definitely a must-have, kind of a secret tool for all the mixing engineers out there. It can be gentle and musical and incredible. So that's it with all the Kush audio plugins. There's a few more that I couldn't install for some reason. I'll try to get back to them. One compressor, another transformer, and a few like modulation, pushers, kind of boosters and stuff like that. But 9 plugins, they're all really amazing. Some of them more useful than the others. I would say that the Ready is a must, and the Clariphonic is a must. And also the Novatron is pretty cool. All the others, the Hammerick DSP, wow. So there's really great stuff there. If you want to know more about these plugins and check our review of them, like a full review with the rating, check out the blog post. We're going to put a link. The only thing I don't like about this is the freaking dongle, the iLock dongle. But other than that, these plugins are absolutely incredible. Sounds so professional, so analog-like. And Kush Audio is definitely pushing the limit in blurring the line between analog and software. I did experience some crashes. That can be just my project, although most of it is audio. I do suspect it's a Novatron, not sure. But other than that, it just sounds amazing, and I'm definitely going to use them for a lot of my mixing purposes. I got 9 more days for my demo, but after that, should I buy it? I think I should. Okay, we'll catch you next time.